This is an Envoice Media podcast.
We make movies, but it needs an attitude with it because nobody was nice. There was nothing gentle about anything.
After making 157 movies and working with all these big celebrities and people, do you still get nervous and anxious before a new project? Or is it for you just like a normal thing, everyday life?
It's a wrap. You guys are off the show. And he had just gotten a cup of coffee and he looked at me. Oh, I won't swear, but he went, "That's..."
You're listening to Just Fake It Coming to LA podcast. Now here are your hosts, Nora and Maryna.
Hey everyone, welcome to Just Fake It
Coming to LA podcast. Here I am, Nora, with Maryna today.
Hi.
And we have a legendary guest today, Donna Smith.
Hi,
Good
Donna.
afternoon.
Hi,
guys.
this is so
Hi, guys.
exciting.
It's fun for me.
Thank you so much for making it. And guys, so you know, Donna is the first female producer that took place in Universal Studios as a president of physical and post-production, right? Did I say everything correct?
Yeah.
I said everything correct. So it is very exciting to have you today, Donna. And we are so interested in everything, you know, for your journey, in everything that you've done and you're about to do. Because I know you still work in the movies and you're not planning on stopping anytime soon, right?
Nope.
And I know, Donna, when I was reading your bio and information about you, I was like, okay, I gotta memorize this. But the numbers, and Maryna actually made fun of me, numbers, you made exact amount, 157 movies under your belt.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
That's crazy.
It's been fun. It's been a big ride. I know that.
And as far as I know, about a dozen Oscar winner movies.
Yeah.
That's something me and Maryna can only dream about.
Yeah.
And we are on a journey, but this is very impressive, Donna. And what I want to say in the beginning is me and Donna met a while ago.
Oh, I actually was about to ask this question. How you guys met? Because I know Nora told me a lot about Donna, and I know you guys met, and it's the theory of being in the right place in the right time. So,
Well, we're new friends. It's just a few months.
Yep.
could you tell me the story how you guys met?
I will. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, so it's actually funny. I was with my friend, my girlfriend. She was visiting me from out of town. And you know, this one of the nights, I'm just sitting in this dress with the cleavage, with the, I don't want to say boobs. How did you say blessings?
Blessings. Your blessings.
With the blessings
We're
out.
a parent.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're just, having dinner at the bar, at this back bar, the secret bar. Not everybody knows in the Steak 48. And we somehow overheard each other's conversations. So long story short, I'm just sitting there. And at the end of the night, you just pick me up.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It is true. No, I just came over and said, like, you're an exotic looking person. Where are you from? I don't know what I said. I really don't. But it turned out she was indeed exotic and from someplace else. And she said she wanted to be a producer and that she was a producer. And I said, oh, that's my profession also. And that's what the conversation started.
Yep. But
And I took her number. That must have been it. That must have been it. So it's fun to say that I picked her up at a bar.
Oh, that's such a nice, again, the theory of being in the right place in the right time and meeting amazing people that you can't.
Well, and to continue to chat with each other and call and make something of a friendship.
Yeah.
Women don't often do that. We kind of elbow everybody out of the way instead.
Yeah.
But we maintained it, and we've been chums ever since. We kind of knock around.
yeah, I actually moved closer to where you live. Now we live very close. I live very
So
far.
you guys neighbors now.
We are.
Oh, wow.
Maybe there was an influence, but I remember, Donna, when you gave me your number back, I wrote it down and you gave me your email and I remember vividly that phrase, and you look when you told me that, Nora, now it's all on you.
Oh.
Yes. And I was like, gotcha.
Nora, it's all on you. Oh,
Yes.
I don't remember that, but okay. I'll own that one. Absolutely.
Yep. And I remember that seriousness, and I was like, okay, I got it. I got to do it. And it's funny because now we're even planning like trips together to
We're
film
going
festivals.
to Cannes next month. Yeah.
Oh,
With
this
other
is
people. There's
exciting.
8 of us going.
Okay.
It's kind of a mob.
Hopefully, yes, it's going to be great. But coming back to the whole film story, because me and Maryna are also trying to make it in
We're
Hollywood.
aspiring filmmakers.
Inspiring.
Okay.
and we have some films under our belt. But
Yeah.
I really want to talk more about coming to LA, since our podcast is Just Fake It, coming to LA. And I remember you were telling me the story of how you ended up in LA. I believe it was 1980s, 1979.
I'm a Minneapolis girl. I'm from Minnesota, Midwest, pure Midwest values. But snow up to your armpits also. So my husband came to me one day and said, oh, it was snowing in May. That's what it was. And can I swear or not? No, I won't swear. Okay. But anyway, he said if another snowflake fell on him in May, he'd lose his mind. And he said, a month later, do you want to move to New York or to Los Angeles? And I said, not New York. So I answered in a negative, positive way. It was kind of a fun remembrance for me. We moved to LA, and we had $11 and no work whatsoever, nobody to know. I had no friends here, nothing. We had no association, but we got out of the snow.
So that was the idea, to get out of the snow and come to a warmer place.
Yeah, that was exactly the reason. Nothing to do with having jobs in the industry or anything like that. We both came from the Guthrie Theater. And in Minneapolis, well, it's a very big deal. It's classical theater. It's Shakespeare, Moliere. So that's what I knew. Gordon's a director and he's a Shakespearean scholar. So we were very involved in classical theater. And Los Angeles doesn't much care about that. And when it came time to say, Gordon had to go to Boston to direct an opera. And I said, better get a job. So I went to an unemployment agency. I never know it's an unemployment agency. And said, what have you got for me? I'm new in town and I come from the Guthrie Theater and I know Shakespeare. Well, I mean, they could have cared less. It was of no interest whatsoever. And this mean lady said, well, you can go to this job. It's assistant filing clerk for 2 weeks at this company. Take it or leave it. And I'm going, to myself, well, it's a little beneath what I had in mind, but okay, I'll take it. So I did that. And I went to this job the next day to be assistant filing clerk for 2 weeks. That's what the job was. And this lady says, sit down over there and get this filing done. I went, okay. She was not going to be chatty and fun at all. I could tell that. And she had a little card table. I like that. I started at a card table. And she had a stack of purchase orders like this, and she filed these. I'm behind in my filing. So I'm filing purchase orders. And I had no idea the company. It just was a name. I had no idea what it did. I didn't care because it was just a boring 2-week filler. And probably on the third or fourth day, I heard Rocky. I had no idea what his real name was. But, you hear Rocky, and you're... And I went, oh, my God, there's Rocky. And I thought I was at a tire company because all these purchase orders were 8 tires, 12 tires, a lot of tires. So I thought it was a tire company. I called Gordon that night and said, guess what? I saw Rocky today. And he said, why was he there? I said, I guess he's just buying tires.
Oh, my God.
It had no other value than that. And then probably on day 6, I saw Travis Bickle.
Also probably buying tires.
And that's exactly what it was. It was no other identity because nobody talked to me and I talked to nobody. It was just sit down over there and get this filing done. And then her boss, the mean lady's boss, came to me one day and he says, come in and take notes. I'm having a meeting, take some notes. And I went, okay. So I just I'm writing really fast and he said, Sly. Now, I had never known Sylvester Stallone, was Rocky, but Sly. And so this guy's having the meeting. He says, Sly doesn't like the ending on Rocky 2. We have to do a whole new ending on Rocky 2. It's going to be a month's work. And he's rattling off. And I'm writing everything. And he said, this is Donna Smith. She'll be the production coordinator. This is Benji Rosenberg. He's the first AD. Coordinate everything with them. Meeting's over. And I was just stunned because I had no idea what had really just happened. I'm taking notes. That's all I was doing. So I went to him after, and I kind of tugged on his sleeve and said, sir, you said my name, and he said, yeah, if you don't want to do it, I'll get somebody else. I said, no, I can do whatever it is. I can do it.
Okay.
But I don't know how to do anything. Stupid thing to say. I mean, is that the dumbest thing anybody could say when you're coming into Hollywood or into L.A., and to try to fake it even? I just said, I don't know how to do anything. And he said, well, I'll get somebody. I said, no, just chill. It's okay. I'll do it. No problem. The next, and I go out back to the office, and the mean lady says, you just took my job. Just like that.
No.
And I said, oh, I don't think so. And she said, yes, you did. She said, I know I'll let you off of this one because you're so green. I know you didn't go after it. And I didn't go after it. But he came over and he peeled off some money. He gave her some money and he said, finish up my Rolodex and get out of here. I don't want to see you again. I'd never heard such harshness with people ever.
I can imagine.
The next day, though, I'm sitting at her desk and it says production coordinator. I keep looking. Yeah, it says production coordinator. I did not know what to do. I didn't know anything about what to do. But now I asked, what does this company do? And the guy looks at me and he says, we make movies.
Oh, wow.
And that should be the name of my book. Well, we make movies, but it needs an attitude with it because nobody was nice. There was nothing gentle about anything. But that is honestly how it started.
What a shock. So after a week working there, you found out.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You thought,
Don't undercut it. Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. You thought you were selling tires, but in fact, you're making movies.
Yeah. So we did the Rocky 2 reshoots, a whole month of Rocky 2 reshoots. I never had so much fun. I mean, it was so much work. 3,000 extras. Can you imagine? 3,000 extras. And we had to redo a whole boxing scene of the end of the movie. And after it, I was like a fallen angel. We were on the sports arena. And I just laid down on the sports arena floor and just, went, oh, I'm so tired. But I've never had so much fun. And this guy came by, the guy that had hired me. He threw a script on my lap. He just literally threw it. And he said, I want you to do my next movie. And I went, are we going to do a whole movie? And he said, well, of course we're doing a whole movie because we only did the Rocky 2 reshoot. So it was a month's work to do the reshoot. So I didn't know how that worked. And he said, well, of course it's a whole movie. And, just walked away. Well, it turned out to be Raging Bull.
Your first year.
Just, turned out to be remarkable. But I was the production coordinator on Raging Bull. It took a year and a half to film because Bobby De Niro, that's why De Niro was there and that's why Sly was there because they were getting ready. Sly was getting ready to do the reshoots and Bobby was getting ready to do Raging Bull. Turned out the company was Chardoff Winkler. That's the name of the production company. I don't think they're a company anymore. But Bob Chardoff and Irwin Winkler were their names, and they named their company Chardoff Winkler Productions, which meant nothing, again, in the beginning. It means a lot now because here comes the Academy Award for the best movie of the 1980s. Everybody got Academy Awards for Raging Bull. I mean, it's just a brilliant movie.
Just to repeat, your first year working in a movie, as a newbie, as a absolutely green person who had never worked on a movie, you worked on Raging Bull, who got an Oscar.
Yeah.
So that pretty much skyrocketed your career.
I think we got 7 Oscars on Raging Bull.
Wow.
Yeah, it really was phenomenal. And the music, everything about it, it was just a huge, huge hit. It still is. It's a remarkable...
I mean, it's everybody...
It was
I
Martin
love that
Scorsese and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. And then we had the real Jake LaMotta there every day. He was the fighter that Bobby was playing as Jake LaMotta. And that was not pleasant at all, but that's another story. But he was there every day to supervise things and be Jake LaMotta, who's not a nice man.
I see. And that after this movie, your career pretty much skyrocketed. So as far as I know, when you were telling me the story, so the beginning of your career, you never stopped working. There was never a moment where you could take like months off. Because in the movie industry, once you finish your project, I mean, you take a month or two, whatever, till the next project comes in. But in your case, you always had projects and films coming in.
That is true. It just never stopped. And I didn't, again, I wasn't aware of that because I didn't look to be in the film industry. It wasn't something, I figured if I ever were in the film industry, I'd be a good script supervisor. That would have been the job I'd have gone after because I'm very detailed in my mind. And I would have been a good script supervisor. Kind of skipped over that because Brubaker, the guy that hired me in the beginning, Jim Brubaker by name, we went after Raging Bull. We did another movie right away, and it was Stallone. It was Bobby De Niro again, and Robert Duvall. I always forget the names of the movies. I can't really think of the name of the darn movie. Anyway, we did that right away after. And then we started A Star Is Born, the Streisand. And we didn't finish that, though, because that hit some snags. So then we went off to do another movie. So I did 3 with Brubaker, just one right after the other. He was production manager. I was production coordinator. And then I had a call that said, we need a production manager. Would you like to be our production manager? And I went, I don't think I'm ready for that, but yes. Now, instead of saying I don't know how to do anything, I did know how to do things, and I did say yes. So I became production manager on my first movie, which was really fast. So that part was wonderful. That was in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and nobody knows where Beaver Dam, Wisconsin is, but I do because I'm a Minneapolis girl. So I thought, well, if I fall on my face in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin on this film, nobody's going to know back in Hollywood. But I'll go be production manager and see if it works. And it worked.
I have a question for, I usually ask all the creatives, and it just really interests me. Oh, Donna, after making 157 movies and working with all these big celebrities and people, do you still get nervous and anxious before a new project? Or is it for you just like a normal thing, everyday life?
I don't want it to be a smart aleck answer, but no, I've never been nervous.
Okay.
I don't seem to get that sweaty hand, nervous thing. It's just like, I can do this. What do I have to do? And I don't know where that comes from or what it is. I think I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and I think it probably comes from that because I always had to be responsible. Donna, take the kids to the park and hold their hands. If Judy turns blue, bring her home right away. Everything. So I always had to be responsible. So I think that this kind of work was new to me. I'm a Capricorn. I blame a lot of it on being a Capricorn because, we just take over and everybody do what we say and then everything will be fine. That's our attitude.
All right.
And so I never got scared about anything. I never was nervous. And working with the movie stars was fun for me. I never, I never had that intimidation kind of feeling.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you saw purely work and there was no overthinking. When you know you have a job to do, you just do it and you do it good. And with celebrities, when I hear your stories, you always tell me that there are so many goofy stories that everybody at the end of the day, every celebrity is a human being and we're all, trying to work and have fun and do what we love and get paid, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, they're people too. No, I think that you need to show confidence. And it's just, with me, it just isn't phony. I feel very much, I can do that. Or if I don't know how to do it, I do know how to, we'll start here, it'll cost this much, then we do this, it'll cost this much, and then we finish and we're done. And that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, take a step at a time, pretty much. It's not, it's pretty much, it's kind of faking it, but it's going to happen. And you might be not.
You kind of hope it's going to happen.
You hope it. You fake it. You hope. You hope it's going to happen. Yeah. Hope is all we have. When it comes to movie sets, most of it, we try to keep things in order and by plan, but Donna, how many times things did not go by plan?
All the time. Hey, this is the girl, I did Waterworld.
Okay, we want to hear that.
And there was never a sane day ever on Waterworld. We never made the schedule, we never made the budget. Everybody, though, we had a snitch on the set on Waterworld, and that was very bad because the snitch was calling the paper and telling Hollywood Reporter and Variety, they went another million over today and that kind of thing. That really bugged me. So I found the snitch, and that's
you did?
yeah.
Wow.
That was not a pretty picture. But that stopped it. But until then, the press, even in Des Moines, Iowa, people were saying, well, I understand Waterworld went 900 million over again, or 900,000.
Yeah.
But it was conversation. Everybody was talking about how much trouble Waterworld was in and all the hassles on the set. And it was a very, very big project. It was also the first movie that was ever published is going to be 100 million.
Wow.
So that's, that brought a lot of attention. And Kevin Costner, of course, had done Dances with Wolves. So, yeah, Kevin already had done that, yeah. I've done a lot of movies with Kevin, so I always have to remember what came first. But he had already done that. So he was a big movie star.
Okay.
We got a lot of press, and it was negative press, terrible negative press.
What do you got out of it once you found the snitch?
Well, that helped. But then we hadn't shot anything on the third act yet of Waterworld, which is the Valdez, the big ship. And we just absolutely shut it down in Hawaii. We had been shooting everything on the water. The set was on the water in Hawaii. And I had a lot of experts that know how the currents flow and how you control things on water. You do not control anything on water. Bottom line, that's what it is. Because, you'd come, you'd say, what happened to section number 4? Oh, it sank during the night, and that's how.
Oh, my God.
Those are real stories. It's really happened. So we had 740 people on crew
Oh my
at one time on that movie. And they said I used to stand on this hill with my hands on my hips and say, where are all these people going to go to the bathroom? How many cars do we have to bring to this island so we can rent cars? I mean, it was terrible to be on an island with such a big production. We did not belong on the water ever.
Okay.
Anyway, shut it down, brought the third act back to L.A. We did it all with CGI, faking the water. So nobody really knows it, but we did. So the whole third act with the Valdez is not on water.
It's pure improvisation.
Well, and and it's huge. It's really big work. But 740 people on
set.
payroll.
And Donna was like, everybody listen to me.
Well, I just want to smack them. That's what I have to.
I love how bossy you are, but at the same time, you're always on point about everything. I remember you were telling stories. Like as a producer, you could be just, people think you could just like wave your finger and do this, do that, but that's not how it works. Because as your producer, I remember you told me that you drove a truck, a moving truck, and you did so many things. Just tell me from A to Z, how many things did you do on set? Because you know every single bit of it.
Good question, girl, because I decided when I became in the movie business, I've got to be in every department to know how to boss around that department. I mean, if wardrobe comes to me and says, we need 24 spools of black thread, I have to know why or how come or, go get it done. And, the answer generally is go get it done.
Okay.
But I did want to go through every department to just find out what it's like, what do they go through that I'm going to have to be the judge as to, yes, you get that or no, you don't. So that really helped me. It was good. I'm a Teamster. I became a Teamster because I drove a school bus, not a truck, but a school bus. It was a school bus. And I did not get 100. I got a 98 because my back wheels went over a curb.
Oh.
But I know what the Teamsters go through now because I did that work.
Okay.
And I love the Teamsters. Everything has to be on the set when you're there in the morning. And if the Teamsters didn't get it there and warm up the trailers and have everything cozy and ready for you, you'd never get to work. So I've really learned, I respect and love the Teamsters completely. This is an immaterial thing, but now I got to say it. The Teamster Union is called 399. So we all talk about 399, all the time. Or you 399, it's the code word because that's the number of the union. My phone number is 399.
Oh,
wow.
What a coincidence.
No, not a coincidence. You should have seen what I had to do to get that telephone man to pay for it. Oh, I think I'm still owing that guy. Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, $3.99. I got to check my phone again to see
Yeah.
What phone number you want?
Donna, now I know the plug, how to get the desired
They don't
phone
just
numbers.
give out numbers. You always have to take the number they give you.
That's what I did. They were like, okay, choose from this 5. I'm like, I guess I got to choose, but I never really
Well,
had a
we always
choice.
want a really good number also, but they don't give you a good number anyway. So I have 399.
I have a plug now. You see? Donna, I think you'll double owe this person for me too. Donna, okay, as a person who is just everything about the film and production, every bit of it, with every question I go to you, I learned so much from you. What is the most important thing on set while shooting a movie, in your opinion?
Well, the flip answer is craft service.
Okay.
Because everybody's got to be happy. And if you don't have the right things there, they're never going to be happy.
Sure.
But the most important item on set, are you looking for something that I said earlier? And I have to repeat it?
No.
Oh.
Just something which you just came out on top of your mind.
I feel like there's a lot of important
There's a
things
lot
on
of
set.
bathrooms. Apple box.
Well, Apple boxes, yeah.
Apple boxes are also important.
Yeah.
Safety, probably safety is very important.
I mean,
'cause-
everything
It's all
on set.
important. It
It's
all
so
has
important.
it all has its own. But You just have to be ready for the first shot. And first shot up is, if it's makeup and hair that's holding up first shot, then you have to go fuss with what's going on, guys. But you can't fuss when the actor's in the chair because they hear that and they have to be very serene. When the camera's on them like this, you don't want an upset actor. They have to have a very calm face.
Yeah.
So I don't have an answer for that. It's really just what's most important is get the first shot.
That's true.
Be ready for the first shot.
I know that also among all the goofy stories, and there are so many. I think we need like another 8 hours of recordings for the goofy stories of the productions. But after Raging Bull, the big ones, there was Terminator, there was Matrix. So I think let's start with Terminator.
Well, you have to think about Terminator was Jim Cameron, but he wasn't Jim Cameron yet. He was going to become Jim, and he was mean as a snake, and he was determined he was going to become Jim Cameron. He had the brains, he had the visuals, all of that, but he hadn't had his first feature yet. So this was his first feature, and that was tough. That was a really tough film for me to do. I was production manager and post-production supervisor. So that means Jim and I had each other from the very first day of prep to the very last day of delivery of the negative. So he couldn't get rid of me because I was post-production supervisor also. But we fought. We fought a lot. But it was healthy fighting. I think of it I even remember the stories and the things that would happen because I was a little green. It was, I think it was my 12th movie. So I had a good load of movies under me by that time. And Jim certainly knew the work, but he wanted to create, every shot had to be what Jim Cameron quality was. And sometimes that's not what we're going to do. So we had 8 weeks of nights. That's where we shot. It was in Los Angeles, 8 weeks of nights, non-union. Very, very tough to do. So I'm keeping the union away and making sure that everything's going to work out for it and that people are going to survive for 8 weeks of nights. And Jim, he's pretty nasty. He's mellowed now, but this is also the young man who's done the most fabulous movies in the world.
Absolutely, yes.
But he was very tough. One story is he called on, I think this is like the second night of shooting, and he said, after a shot, he said, "Oh, that was perfect. Let's do it again." And I have to go, Jim, let's have a walk and talk. I'm so tired. He always calls me Smith. He doesn't call me Donna. Smith, I'm so tired of walking and talking with you. And I said, you want to do it in front of the crew or do you want to do it behind the trucks?
Oh, Donna, you have the balls. I'm sorry I had to say that.
Well, I don't think of it as that, but you don't want to do those talks in front of the crew.
Absolutely.
Rephrase, brave.
Okay. And so I said, Jim, you called that shot perfect, and then you said, let's do it again. We're not doing it again. It was perfect. We've got it. It's in the can. We're done. So that's our argument. And then I just turned around and tell the crew, everybody, we're on the wrong set. Get ready for the next shot. We're no longer on this setup anymore. Oh, did he like that? Not a bit. He was really pissed off at me. But I had to...
Well, you have to...
From my point of view, you have to establish where you are. And I'm a girl, and that was the big thing. There were not girls that were production managers. There were probably 4.5 of us at the time. It's much better now, but it's not great even now. But women were not production managers who really had the bossy part of taking care of hiring and firing people. I have no trouble firing people, which a lot of people can't. And I only say that because I've been told, how did you handle all those things? And I don't know, but other people have told me, he said, that you've got great people handling skills. So whatever that means to people who educate in that manner, that's a good thing, I think. Most of the men would say, you're nurturing a crew. And they get nasty to me about it. Quit nurturing everybody. I said, I'm not nurturing anybody. I'm telling them the way it is, and I'm going to fire them, and they're going to fire them, that sort of thing. But the guys thought of it as nurturing instead of handling everything that had to get done. But meanwhile, anybody who wasn't working out wouldn't be there the next day because I have a good... it's not fun to fire people, but I have an easy time at doing it because we're doing movies. We've got an obligation to the investors, the people who put up the money.
Yeah.
I feel very obligated to them, and if somebody isn't holding their own, they're out. and next one's in.
It's just about doing their job.
And being the best at what they do, and if they're not, one time I had to fire somebody, and it was the head grip,
Okay.
because on this show I'd walk past, and anything belongs to me is how I feel as production manager. I became producer, but as production manager, I'd go on all the trucks and check things and make sure everything was cooking or doing right. And I always saw that the felt was down on this truck in the back. And sometimes it was up. And it wasn't like a big obvious thing to me, but it was something that I had noticed. So one night I went on the truck and the felt was down, and I just opened the felt and I said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" "Oh, this is what's going on." "Well, they're selling pot." That's what it was all about. So when the felt was down, they were open. When it was up, they weren't open.
Oh, so it was like a signal.
That was a signal. I had no idea. So anybody who's taking a toot, that's the truck that they're on to get their supplies. And so I saw that happening. And at the time, and they're, "Oh, no, this isn't what it looks like, Donna. No, we're not, I didn't say much. I just was quiet, and I left the truck. But I told the Teamsters, "Guys, the end of the shoot tonight, as soon as we're wrapped, get a stake bed, go over to that truck, take all the equipment off. I'm going to fire everybody and all of the equipment, and just take them wherever they need to go with their equipment and all that. But we're going to have a whole new grip crew tomorrow." So that happened. So at the end of the night, they thought they were cool. That they didn't get busted. So the end of the night, we had to finish the night, in my opinion. So the end of the night, I went to the key grip, and I said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Hey, it's a wrap. You guys are off the show." And he had just gotten a cup of coffee, and he looked at me. I won't swear, but he went, "That's Donna," and he threw the coffee down, but the coffee bounced from the ground all over me.
Oh, no.
And it was really hot coffee. I was just like, and I went, "Oh." I looked at him, I said, "Big mistake." And I just walked away because the Teamsters were all around him just closing in.
Oh.
Because they knew what was happening. When they saw the coffee thing happen, that was not pretty.
Oh, God, that was annoying.
And a bit of a tag on that story, probably 2 weeks later, that guy, I did change that crew, but the guy came to me, and when my secretary came in, she said, "So-and-so is here." And I went, "Oh, I'm surprised at that. Okay, send him in." Didn't duck it, what's going on. So he came in. "I am so sorry about that. That's not who I am, and I've got kids," and the whole story. And he actually cried.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there going, I don't know if this is a con or for real, but the guy is so sincere. And at the end of it all, I said, "You're still not going to be hired back." And he went, "Oh, that's Donna." And it was just, and he left mad.
So it was a
because
play?
It was just a total con, con. So you never know how to handle things. But again, as a woman, when you're firing guys, and the grips are not the small guys, So I've never had an encounter. Nobody ever took a punch at me. But that was probably the worst story of the hot coffee splashing up on me.
Crazy. I know, Donna, you don't seem like a quitter, but I just wanted to ask, did you ever had a moment that you thought about maybe it's not for me, maybe I should quit? Because we all know movie business is a hard business. It's days that last for like 24 hours.
For women especially.
You're never home. Have you ever had that moment that you were maybe that's not for me, or you forever knew that it's something that...
Super question, because I did quit.
Okay.
I quit one show. One show. Platoon. Can you imagine? I mean, it's one of the most magnificent movies in the world. It's Oliver Stone, and Oliver was stoned. And we were in the Philippines, and it was tough in the Philippines. Anyway, the same company that did Terminator did Platoon. And I was kind of their favorite child as a production manager. They liked my work. So I was on Platoon. It was just beginning. We were only prepping. And I called the guys and said, "Going to leave this show. I'm never going to make it with Oliver through the whole show. And I'm afraid somebody's going to get killed on this show. Safety is not being the way it should be. The Philippines were very loose about it. The crew was pretty loose. Everybody was smoking pot. I mean, everybody was. It was the 80s. Everybody was smoking pot.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm not of that ilk at all. The Minnesota girl in me does not have a big tolerance of any of that. So I did. I quit Platoon, and I came back. And they said, "You can't quit." And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to quit." "You can't quit." And I said, "Well, I'm quitting. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to jeopardize anything, including my own safety and career." And they said, well, you have to replace yourself. And I said, well, that's fair, So then you got to find somebody who's going to be able to handle Oliver and the whole show in the Philippines and all that. Anyway, I did. I won't say name. Because,
No, it doesn't.
But anyway, so I found somebody, and he came to my house, and we studied at my dining room table for like 5 nights then this, and then this, and I just turned the whole show over to him. And he did a super job on it. It's Alex Ho, that's his name. And Alex, and then he and Oliver started working together. So it really worked well, which I'm very happy about.
So they connected.
They connected well, yeah. And I never went back. But then I was invited to the cast and crew screening, which is always such a fun night because, we're yelling at the screen and everything's fun. And I sat there and I started crying. And I cried through that whole doggone movie. It was so beautifully told. So harsh, so mean, and anyway, it really got to me. I think it was the music that Oliver put in, because he put in fabulous music. And he came over to me and he says, "I think you liked our movie." And I said, "Oh, even that you still say our movie really moved me." And we stayed chums and all that.
Okay.
I had to go to China a lot of times after Crouching Tiger. And Oliver, one night I had to do some red carpet event, and they came to me just before it was time to walk the red carpet and said, "Oh, by the way, you'll be escorted tonight by Oliver Stone." And I thought about the Platoon time, I don't think Oliver remembers it at all. I truly don't. There's no reason why he would. It was meaningful to me, not to him. But so there we were on the red carpet in China together many years later, and he's the escort. We have to go down the red carpet and talk to the press and look nice and be nice, and it was cool. It was nice.
Wow,
That's a very interesting story. Yeah.
How? I mean, you had lots of red carpets, but do you remember your first one, big one? Your feelings, emotions when you had to choose a gown, and I know you. We talked about it too. It's about the gown, and you have to have a new one for every year. What was your the very first? Probably after Raging Bull, you had a red carpet, no? That was my first Academy Awards to go to the Oscars. And my husband Gordon, who subsequently has passed, so Gordon isn't here to remember all of these wonderful things, but we went to the Academy Awards and had very, very nice seats because, we were up for, we being the picture, was up for nominations for everything. So I had these great seats, and to me, I'm like, oh, I'm a Minnesota girl, and look where I am. I was really taken with it all. It was great fun. And Gordon also, he was excited. And then probably the second hour of the show, Gordon looked at me and he said, "Hey, honey," and he really wanted my attention. And he did this. He said, "Never, never, never again." He hated it. He just hated it because it's long and it's, it's organized in a way that they picked us up in the limo at 11 in the morning.
Okay.
And you have your hair and makeup done at the house before. And he was in a tuxedo from 11 in the morning until 4 in the morning the next day. And he says, "Never." So he would never go again.
He did not.
No, he never would go again. But that made it fun because then I could invite my mom. I could invite my sister. So I always got to have another companion. And they loved going to the awards. So it was kind of fun that Gordon said, "I'll watch it on TV, but I'm not going to sit there
in my
again."
sweatpants. I don't have to wear a tuxedo for almost 24 hours. Damn it.
Oh,
that's great.
He had a very definite moral code as to what he would do and not do. And that hit the list right away. He wouldn't ever do that again.
Yep.
But that's fun, when you do go. And then after many years or many times, and you're also not in front as much because if your movie is, you're back here, you're back here, you're back here.
Yeah, depending on the movie.
Yeah, you're not. It's not as groovy. Mm-hmm. But it's fun to do, but not a lot of times.
Not a lot of times.
I do have one great memory though, because one year I did Crouching Tiger and Traffic at the same time that same year. Both films were up for nominations as Best Picture of the Year. Okay. And I had been on Crouching Tiger every day. I stayed with that picture because I love Ang Lee's work. And it was also very, very tough. And we shot it in China. Everything was shot in China, 10 different provinces. So
Wow.
it was really tough. And when we got
How
to
much time did you have to
Oh,
shoot?
it wasn't a matter of being too tight on a schedule. I don't remember how many weeks schedule. It probably was 12 weeks or something. But when we got to the Gobi Desert, I said, Ang, I'm going back to Shanghai or to Beijing, whichever it was. I'm not doing this desert because there's snakes and scorpions. I said, I don't do snakes and scorpions. But they had to stay there and shoot in that darn desert, to do that marvelous sequence with the horse in Raging Bull. So I passed on that desert. That was the only time I passed on. But during Academy Awards, so here's the traffic table, and here's the Crouching Tiger table. So I was just being a little brat and running from one table to the next all night long. And I wanted to be at the table that got the award. And I thought, it's going to be Crouching Tiger. So I was at the Crouching Tiger table waiting to be, and the best picture of the year is Traffic.
Oh.
So I was at the wrong table.
Oh, no.
So even though you do a lot of films, you still get that kind of little charge, a little excitement thing as to, but in everybody at the Crouching Tiger table, because it was all Chinese, everybody's taking pictures all night long, and they're not supposed to, but their cameras were coming out and taking pictures all night. So I said, take pictures of the winning table, guys.
I was supposed to be there, guys. I missed out. Well, there was some ambition there. You see, you wanted to be at the table where the
Yeah,
Oscars.
that little girl in me and that Minnesota girl
Yeah.
in me, I wanted to be at the winning table,
Right? It wasn't even your first Oscar, but you still.
No.
You still. I can imagine in your gown just running between two tables.
Well, you always need a new gown. You can't wear the same gown twice.
Oh, how many gowns do you have?
I
Gosh.
do have buku gowns. Stand by, because I'm doing a weed out at home.
That's what I said. I'm in the line.
It'll never work, darling. Look at you. Look at me. No, it doesn't work.
I'll make it short, like the modern style gown. Wow. Well, that story I had never heard about about these two movies and two
No.
tables and
Yeah.
running in between. Well, I really want to talk about Terminator because that's the movie I grew up on. This phrase "I'll be back." I think that's the only phrase
just
in English
classics.
I knew when I was growing up because. Oh my God, it was such a mind-blowing thing. I'm in school, my sister and brother were all in front of TV. Back then it was tapes, right? It
Yeah.
was tapes. So we put there and we just like sit there and watch for days, like first one, third one, and we repeat it again. And then we play like, I'll be back, pew, pew, pew,
Seriously?
you know? Yes, and you don't even understand how influential for us it was. Imagine me, girls like in Ukraine, in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it was like
and for us,
crazy.
this is something like,
I feel like for everybody it was crazy, but for us specifically, because we didn't have that much foreign movies, right? And this was one of the movies that they just let in our countries, right?
And it's like this big guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger is just so bulked up and he's killing and like, motorcycles, everything is exploding. I lived in a village. So I don't know about you guys, but I
No
literally-
big town around you or anything. Yeah.
Not big like LA for sure not. And for me, even looking at this movie and imagining all these actors, I've never seen guys like that.
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
was drop dead gorgeous, this tall, this big, and his voice was like, "Come with me, I'll be back." I was, I think, I don't remember which grade, maybe it was 4th, 5th, whatever, and I was like, like little puppy,
Wow.
I'll go
Wow.
anywhere. Yes.
And Arnold, up to that time from his movie life, was a buffoon because he'd only done the Conan movies. And so there was kind of, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The industry was very, they're going to use Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was so beautiful in that movie. And his body showed. And of course, we had him drop to the earth nude in the very beginning. That kind of caught on with people, I think, pretty fast. But Arnold was wonderful. In that, it's the most perfect casting. It really was. And Terminator was, it made a big career for Jim, Gail Ann Hurd, myself, Arnold, certainly. I mean, all of a sudden, people really had a lot of notoriety because of a non-union movie, $6 million, shot in L.A., and no Academy Award or anything behind it, but it just held its own. So, but guess what? Because I was post-production supervisor also, I was on it for so long. But as soon as it finished, I didn't trust that the movie was going to be great.
Oh, really?
And I had a call that said, come to what is now former Yugoslavia, come to Zagreb, and we have a movie we need you to produce over here. And I almost ran. I was so excited to get away from Terminator because I thought it was going to fail. And I said, I don't want to be associated with this failing movie that's so goofy that I never understood the storyline. And so I was very happy to go to Europe and work in Europe for my first time. And so I was in Zagreb. Terminator opened. It was all over Europe. Every place I went, Terminator. It was the biggest darn thing ever. So it was fun for me to experience it internationally.
Because you were saying, I worked on that movie. Yeah. I did.
And if you go up, well, when you tell the ticket taker that, I'm an obvious American when I'm talking to somebody, and then and I say, this is a movie that I worked on or that I did, and I want to. They'd always let you in for free.
Oh, really?
You don't want to get in for free. That's not the idea, but it was the gift that they could give you. And so Gordon and I we saw Terminator 38 times, I think, in Europe, all around, and everybody always wanted to let you come in for free because you had worked on it as a thank you. It was very nice.
Interesting. That's actually a good question. Do you ever use your status to do some things, like even small things, or be like, "Oh, I worked on Terminator. Can I have this shoes for free?"
Oh, kiddo, I don't have a. I'm not that. I don't have a reputation. I'm just a worker. I truly am a worker. I don't have any star quality or pizzazz of any sort. No. So the answer is no.
Okay. No,
but I know what you're
curious.
saying. Yeah, no. But that was the only thing maybe was I led that myself because they'd always let you in for free. Like Gordon on our honeymoon, or not our wedding night, I became ill. I was so sick. And so Gordon, I didn't even know he'd left the room. I was just sick. And so he went to a theater, and we were in this little town, and he went to the theater, and the theater manager said, are you going to come in and see the movie? And he says, well, my wife, I just got married, and my wife's home throwing up, and, so yeah, I guess I'll go to the movie. And the guy says, oh, come on, I'll let you in for free. Because of his sob story. So that's the only thing that reminds me of anything that also happened, but had nothing. But he went to see a Raquel Welch movie, so he was very happy that he always said, I spent the night with Raquel Welch instead of with Donna. I was sick.
Throwing up Donna on the wedding night. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know what? You tell so many warm stories about your husband, Gordon, and I know he really influenced you in your career as much because he was always supportive.
That's the truth. Yeah.
He was always supportive. Not every man can take a woman who works so much, who is so ambitious. And even though you say, I just did my job, I can see throughout your career there was an ambition as this girl from Minnesota, because you were trying to be at the table which wins the Oscar. You're trying to, you said that I wasn't Terminator, meaning that you were always proud and you're trying to be better and better and better. So this ambition kind of carried you throughout your career, and your husband was so supportive on every step of it.
Beautiful point to make. Now, day and age and everything, and then, but Gordon always, he came to me one day, this was the turning point, and he said, sweetheart, from now on, you make the money. I'm going to go learn to ski. He didn't know how to ski, and he was 53 or something yet. And because I was making big money then. I mean, I just worked constantly. And Universal Executive, I didn't see that coming. That was a big surprise. So that was Gordon's idea. He said, I'm going to go learn to ski. So he went to Sarajevo. You guys know where Sarajevo is? I don't even remember now where Sarajevo is. It's in Europe someplace. And he went to those mountains. And I asked him, I said, are you running away? Because I thought, you're never coming back. Because I was a pain to be with. I was not a fun wife in many ways. Because when I'd say I'd be home at 8 o'clock, it'd be 10 o'clock. When I'd say, oh, no problem, this weekend I can do that, I couldn't do it. The work was starting to, it was so heavy, and I had so much that I had to be correct about. And so it started taking over a little too much of our marriage. And I became aware of that. He let me know, though, also. He's not shy. He really let me know. You got to get your priorities straight. I come first and then work. I said, you're right.
Did something change after that?
No. I still had the same amount of work. Every movie had the same problems or new problems that had to get solved. So I was always that problem solver.
But
But
he
he was just totally supportive of it. He understood and he knew. He put pressure on me, but not nasty pressure. It was just like, doggone it, that's the fourth time you missed dinner. You know.
It is tough.
Yeah, it's
It
tough.
is tough. And you feel guilty as a woman, as a wife. You want to spend time with your husband, but then also,
Well, I'd much rather be with him than, on a set making sure the lines get painted right or something. Yeah. We never had a family, not because of that. I really chose not to be a mom. I had no instinct. I never found myself saying, "Oh, I can't wait to be pregnant or have a baby." I never felt that. And I was Gordon's third wife, so I was Mrs. Gordon Smith the third.
Okay.
And he definitely knew he should not have children, is how he put it. He was not set out to be a father at all.
everything
So
was on the
So you
same
guys had
page.
we met
understanding.
Thank goodness if one wants and one doesn't, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were very mutual on it. And then we had a meeting 3 times a year. For 5 years, we'd have a meeting. Has anybody changed their mind? And we didn't change our mind. We got stronger about, I don't want to have a family.
I mean, it's interesting how everything kind of aligned together. And not to mention that your husband also had a career
Oh,
in
yeah.
television, a pretty big career.
Yeah.
Which you just say a couple
Yeah,
of words.
Gordon didn't like making movies. He started doing film also, but it was too slow for him. So he became television. So he produced a big television special. At that time, we had big TV variety shows. It was a 2-hour special called Circus of the Stars, and it was celebrities doing circus acts.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so
he was the producer. Yeah, because you mentioned that before, and I was like, it's interesting how you both. He was a theater director. We're talking about Moliere and Shakespeare, and then he transferred to television show, and then you transferred into movies. It's such a flourishing career for both of you, and you were both busy and understood each other. That's a great.
it was always in the arts. Isn't that interesting? The culture part of things. I grew up in a family that had none of the culture exposed to it at all. We were just 5 snot-nosed kids and a mom and dad and a dog and a turtle. We're just really normal that way. So I never studied for the arts in any way.
Do you think Gordon, in some ways, influenced you?
Big time. Yeah, Gordon had a brain the size of Chicago, and he went to Carnegie Mellon, which was the best school there was for theater. He studied theater more than he didn't study film and TV. He studied theater, and then he became a Broadway stage manager, and then came to Minneapolis from being a Broadway stage manager. So he had a big influence on me. Yeah.
Coming back to the films, another favorite film which I grew up on, I still rewatch this film, is Matrix. I said it right this time. Matrix.
Instead of Matrix.
Yes, I know. I have this British Russian accent. Matrix. We say it Matrica.
Oh, okay. You really
Matrica.
do?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it's called.
Okay.
That's why I call it
You know too, yeah.
Matrix.
Yeah.
But then it's Matrix, guys.
It's Matrix.
I know.
I told her
Matrix.
that just before. I said,
just
it's
before
Matrix.
recording.
Yeah, we're learning every day.
I actually learn every day a new word whenever I meet Donna. There is a new word.
It just happens that way, though.
I don't know. Yes, because the way you talk is something I definitely thrive to learn, and you learn from the best. So I'm always enjoying to learn from you.
That was a kudo. Thank you.
Matrix. My biggest crush was Keanu Reeves. Yes, still is. After John Wick especially, I'm like, this guy doesn't get old at all.
He doesn't. I also just figured out he's half Japanese, I think. I didn't know that.
No, I heard, no, half the pillar Russian. Was he?
No.
Maybe
Wait.
I'm just...
I used to know this, and I won't say it right now either, but Hawaiian.
Oh, Hawaiian.
He grew up in Hawaii more. I don't remember now. Apologies, Keanu. We're talking about you, and we don't know what we're talking about. Except you're really cute. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
We're all your fans.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
The cutest guy in the world. And plus, he's so zen. He's so calm. The pictures of him in the subway with a cupcake. I mean, in the subway, taking subway in New York and then have a cupcake on his birthday. I mean, it's so humbling. And if you think about it, I think in person, he would be the same. And since you worked with him on Matrix, just tell us more about this whole story.
Well, I'm going to go back to another one I did with him earlier than the Matrix movies. A Walk in the Clouds. Very quiet movie about wine. And we shot it up in, we were up in Napa. And Keanu, that's when I first met him. And he just has this absolute glow about him. And people would say during lunch, "Where's Keanu? Where's our movie star?" And I'd say, "Leave him alone. He's out there in the field, all by himself, just sitting. Literally, he'd take a chair and just take it out to the field and have his lunch, and it was sitting in his lap and eating. But he's just zenning out. He's just that way, and he isn't being avoiding of people. He likes people. He'll chat, but he doesn't have a lot of patience, maybe for small talk.
Okay.
Just that. I really like your career, and you're a really cute guy, and you know how to surf, don't you? Because you grew up in Hawaii. He doesn't. That's the kind of thing that I find. And he also has had a lot of deaths in his life. And his father had left the family, so he never had a dad. His sister was ill, and he lost a child, and lost the lady that he loved died. I mean, he had a terrible lot of tragedy and trauma in his early life. And that's, I'm sure, how he's reflecting on everything. And, he gives away money.
Yes.
Do you guys know that?
He's very well known for his charity
Yeah,
work.
he just, he's just a really good guy, and he isn't married. But he has a lady in his life now. So settle down.
Nora, no chance.
Settle
Why
down.
always Nora?
Settle down.
Everybody just looked at me at this moment. Okay, well, I love him for his work. And
Yeah, Matrix was, he was wonderful. The first day at Matrix, we shot all of that in Australia, all three Matrixes.
I did not know that.
And Keanu came, and he was walking like this, and he had a neck brace on. And when you got a neck brace on, that's how you have to handle yourself. And I'm going, "What's going on with you?" And he says, "Oh, it's okay. I'll be okay." "What do you mean you'll be okay? Have you read the script? Do you know
The stunts you have to
what
do.
you're going to go through?" Oh my gosh! Well, he had sprained his neck doing something. I don't remember now, but he arrived with that neck brace on. It was just so traumatic to see that. And of course, I'm thinking insurance. Oh my God, I got to call the insurance company, or movie star, and completion bond company. I'm going to all of the work parts of things, as well as the actor who is right now in a neck brace.
Am I right now about the casting of Matrix? I remember, I believe they offered this role of Neo to Will Smith as well. I remember he was also going through castings. I think Keanu Reeves was one of the top candidates,
Contender.
but there were also...
I don't remember about that.
Yeah,
I
I
really
heard
don't.
that story,
Yeah.
yes. I think somebody turned it down, and then Keanu Reeves... Well, overall, I do not see anybody else on this part except Keanu.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just not even to be. It's not a subject.
All right.
Nothing to talk about.
I can talk about the stories, like literally hours and hours from Hollywood, because everything you say is just such a goofy, hilarious experiences you have. And I remember, Donna is not just a big producer as a woman who made it in Hollywood. She's also a lady. And this lady is just marvelous and mind-blowing in my opinion, because you have everything which a woman, in my opinion, should have. It's hardworking, professionalism, ambition, and I know that you still get marriage proposals.
Yeah. Go figure.
I love it.
Oops, I should not say that, but yes. So for me, as an example, and I'm pretty sure for Maryna to work for and see where we're going, and for every really woman who is trying to make it in career and happy marriages, because you had it both, still have, because now you have persnickety production actively, you're doing movies, and besides that, you also, I think you're either a board member for China, or you're a representation of American cinematography in China.
I've been to China 22 times, which is a lot.
It is a lot.
And they gave me a title.
I
The
see.
government there gave me a title. I always have to remember it. United States Film Ambassador to China.
Right, film ambassador
Yeah.
to China.
Yeah.
Right, and you also have
And-
charity organization. Yes. You
Yeah.
also have charity organization, and you're so
The
active.
World Hero Foundation.
The world.
Yeah, that's for veterans. For building homes for veterans.
And plus, you always have few movies, and they're always big and beautiful on your belt. And what I love about what you do is, besides doing all these big movies, you also help the younger generation. Table reads, like for example, you have a movie and you want Donna to read it. She will gladly just mentor you and help you, and that's very, very fascinating.
She's just speaking for you, Donna.
I'm so sorry. I'm just
She'll
speaking.
do
I'm
it.
just fascinated. I am. I love meeting people like that. But yeah, I mean, I can speak for hours and hours. I just want to hear your questions now.
No, I do have a couple of questions. What interests me is you have so much experience in movies, and have you ever thought now of directing your own movie or writing your own movie?
Oh, I do write. I've
Okay.
I've written several.
Okay.
Yeah, I co-write or write. That much interest. I don't have a lot of interest in that. I don't go out and try to sell them. I've never done that. I do have one that I love. Men make passes at women wearing glasses.
Okay.
And it's great. You'll be in it. If I ever go out and huck it and get it going, it needs two girl leads and two guy leads.
Everybody heard that?
So
witnesses.
Anybody with money, the investor, just find the investor, and then we'll do the movie.
I guess that's the easiest part.
I own the IP. Everything else is ready. So for writing, yes, and for directing, not a day.
No.
Not a day have I ever wanted to be director on any level. I've never. No, I never have.
Actor.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What was that? Oh, no.
No.
But I am in Terminator. Go back to Terminator. Jim one day, Smith, come here. Rah, 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 rah. So now what? You never know what's going on with him. And he said, I need your hands. So in the one scene where Ginger, who's Linda Hamilton's roommate, Sarah's roommate, Ginger, has to get away from the Terminator because he's put a bullet in her already, I think. And the hands on the floor are my hands crawling on the floor to their death.
I gotta rewatch that now.
You watched it as a kid so much, but you didn't know that,
I
did
did
you?
not know that.
Yeah.
Imagine I will see those hands when I grow up, like literally next to me. Guys, wow.
And still with
crazy.
their
You
red
never
finger.
know.
I've always worn red fingernail polish.
Always that bread too.
Oh, yeah. Jim wanted that.
I'm speechless now. All right, well.
And then I'm a school teacher in something. I don't remember what I did, but I'm a school teacher in the footage.
So you did play a little bit as an actress.
Well, but only because the directors get desperate and say, oh, we need somebody that looks like a school teacher. Donna, will you come do this? No, I don't want to do that. And then they put a costume on you and you do it. And no.
Anyway.
So, yeah. But no, I've
Interesting.
never had any good questions again. I'm a good manager. I love managing things and making sure that they happen. And my whole saying that if anybody ever says anything about me, what I want them to say is that I created the environment in which the artist can work. That's what I care about. I want you guys who are artists to come to work and have serenity, have a good environment, have peace, have harmony, and not have people yelling and swearing and tension. I just want to create that atmosphere that people can come as artists and work.
And that's a beautiful note towards the ending. And I think now all I want is maybe your message to the younger generation who are trying to make it in LA in this harsh film industry. Maybe you can just say a few words.
Well, the one word is persistent. Be persistent. When people look at you cross-eyed and tell you no and get out of here and you're not what we're looking for and all the rudeness that they deliver, just be persistent. Believe in yourself and just go, okay, that guy rejected me, but I'm still gonna make it. And when you can't, because eventually you do know when you can't, then you go back home and you run your father's hardware store or whatever. But try your damnedest. Remember Marlon Brando? I mean, anybody who you hold an image of. There's a wonderful Brando when he's auditioning, and he's just in a suit. We never saw Marlon Brando in a suit, in a tie. Oh, he's so cute. It just makes your eyes water. He's so good looking. But the person interviewing him just says, Marlon, what have you done on Broadway? And he just talks to the camera, well, I did, in a soft little voice. well, I did this and I did that. And so she talks to him and he just and he smiles. And then she says, Marlon, would you turn to the side? So he does his profile and now to the other side. And he says, okay, yes. And he looks to the other side. And she says, okay, thank you. And that was it. So when you see something like that that's gentle and handled correctly and is very dear, keep that in your heart. And try and don't overload your heart with all that rejection and the terrible things, how people treat each other now. It's not nice. It isn't pleasant. But perseverance. My company's name is Persnickety because that's my personality and how I am. I'm very persnickety about things. But I think perseverance is the other P word that really pays off for anybody wanting to get in the industry and trying their darndest.
Thank you. Donna,
Pleasure.
That's a great
Fun.
advice.
I loved every bit of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. That was a great conversation. I feel like we can have many, many more like
Absolutely,
this.
yes. It's a part 2. It's like Matrix and Terminator. Part 2, part 1, part 2, sequel,
We'll be
prequel.
back.
We didn't get into a lot of things.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, trust me, Donna, we will. To cover all this, we need like the whole show. Donna Smith, Nora and Maryna all together.
Cool.
With
I
their blessings.
excellent. Well done.
And blessings. All right. Thank you, Donna. And this is Just Fake It podcast coming to LA, sponsored by
And Voice Media. Voice your passion, guys.
Thank you. See you next time.